Welcome to Splunk video. Splunk is software application. Most of the companies using the Splunk nowadays, and this is a operational intelligence tool, and it will make machine data accessible, usable, and valuable to everyone. And let us understand more about the Splunk. Before that, I will give a quick introduction about myself. I am Sahitya Verma, and I work as a SOAR and Splunk consultant, mostly working with the Security Operations Center, and I make SOC maturity, making the automations in the Security Operations Center. And let us dive into the Splunk and introduction of it. Splunk is a operational intelligence tool. To understand what is the operational intelligence, we have to understand little bit about the business intelligence. So let us understand first what is a business intelligence. Like most of the companies take the business decisions, right? Like from the last 3 quarters of the data or the last 3 years of the data, they will collect, analyze, and identify in the next quarters or the next year what how the sales will be, how the market will looks like. No, so they will take the decision according to their business for their success factor. So that is a business decisions, and it will take some time. But operational intelligence won't get this time. It need to be very quick. You have to take the data, you have to process it very quickly, and you have to project, you have to alert to the end user. Let us understand with a small example. For example, you are playing a video game in your laptop, and you didn't identify that in your the background the CPU and RAM utilizations are very high, and if you did not consider that, after some time your laptop is going to be shut down. And as it is your personal laptop, there is no much loss for you because it's a simple laptop, and you may be downloading some file and it will be stopped. Again, you will re-download it, or you're working in a file, and if you did not save before that, and the file may delete. Like that, it's a the loss will be very less. But if you think about up to a production level, for example, imagine that in YouTube website or Google website or Amazon website, these are the very huge websites, and every minute is income generating. In this case, if a server went down for some time, then they're going to lose a lot of money. So the Splunk is going to do, you are going to install the Splunk kind of software in your laptop. It will collect the data from your CPU, RAM, and other infrastructure components, and it will analyze that, and it will project, it will alert you, hey, it's already 80% consuming. If you continue like that, maybe within 10 minutes of time, within 20 minutes of time, your laptop, your server is going to die. That way, if something alert came to you, you have some time before it is going to shut down. So you will take the decision. If the downloading file is important, then you will stop immediately the game, or else you will continue the game, ignore the downloading, and again it will give you at 90% utilization and 95% utilization. It's up to you whether you're taking the alert into the consideration, you're going to stop or not. But in a server level, of course, you will take these alerts into the consideration, and you will have some time, breathing time, to take wise decision, take the adequate measures. Now in the companies, the same it is going to do. They will collect the log from each and every component in the company, like for example endpoints, the switches, routers, internet servers, database servers, firewalls, and DMZ, according to their visibility, according to their functionality, their use case. For example, if the Splunk is using for the cyber security purpose, then of course you need to collect all authentication logs, network logs from all those devices. Suppose you are using the Splunk for the observability purpose, then which server you want to observe, which server you want to monitor, only from that server application you are going to take the log. And why most of the companies using it? Because it have the big data capability, and it can able to do the context, it can give the context, and you can gain insight out of the data. And Splunk also, you can keep it in a cloud. Even Splunk website itself providing the cloud software. So there are the multiple better use cases are there. So that is the reason most of the companies are using the Splunk. Why most of the companies using the Splunk in a cyber security is, we will understand that with a one small example. There is a thief and he wanted to rob a home, and the thief doesn't know that every corner of the home have the camera, and they are monitoring that particular thief. Wherever the thief is touching the object, so that they can collect the fingerprint. Normally, the forensic investigation will come and they have to search for the fingerprints, right? By looking at the camera or the video, they will identify where he touched the object so that they can directly go and they will take the fingerprint. Very easy for them. And also how the thief came inside and what are all he touched, and he will go. The same way in a cybersecurity, we have these informations is very helpful for the police. The same way in a cybersecurity, we will collect all the logs into the Splunk, and Splunk is monitoring all those logs. We will create alert whenever you are going to do the investigation. It is very easy to identify the root cause, or wherever the proof is there, you can identify the proof and you can take the decision. You can take the adequate measure. For example, you wanted to block one IP, bad IP at the firewall. You can investigate that regarding that particular IP. If you have a proof, then you can raise a request to block the IP at the firewall. Like that, you can able to do. Splunk is also solving the big data problem. Big data is nothing but when the huge data the companies are collected, then they have to store that data, they have to process the data, and that is a very time consuming process, and most of the application won't support that. But Splunk is supporting these big data characteristics. What are they? Big data contain the 3V problem: velocity, volume, and variety. VVV, 3V problem. What is mean by the velocity? When the huge data coming in a real time, you have to take action in a real time. Like you have to collect the data, you have to process alert immediately. So that is the velocity. Second one is the volume. A huge volume, because multiple team members will be there, multiple applications you have. In that application itself, multiple functions going to run, that is generating the huge amount of the log files. So that huge number of log files, you have to process it and you have to generate a report. So that is a volume. So Splunk can able to do that. How Splunk can able to do? Splunk is storing the data in index wise and horizontally scale that indexes. That means you can add multiple indexes to the Splunk, and how much huge data you are bringing, it can able to adopt, it can able to store that much data, that too in a disaster recovery mode as well. And third one is the variety. Every day new applications are coming, and that application generate a new type of log. So you have to take that log, you have to process it, you have to extract the fields. So that variety of data also Splunk can able to adopt it. You can use the regex, and you can use the multiple functionalities. You can structure, you can cut that into the pieces, and you can able to process it. So 3V problem can be solved by this Splunk. Splunk can take any kind of data. It can take the server's data, Active Directory data, Windows data, RFID tags, sensors, virtual machines, application servers, web servers, databases, security devices, networks, exchange, mainframe, and applications. Not only these, if any other application, other objects are there, even from them, Splunk can able to collect the data. What are all the basic components of this Splunk? So the first one is the forwarder. Name suggesting that it will collect the data and it will forward the data to the indexer. So as it name saying, it is we call it as a Splunk forwarder. It is a kind of agent. It is sending the data to the indexer. So the forwarder forward the data to the indexer. So the indexer is the heart of this Splunk, where we are storing our data. And another component is search head. As the name saying, it will search the data from the indexers, and it will show the reports and dashboards at the search head level. Why they have the multiple components? Because when you have the huge data is there, a single machine cannot able to perform all the three jobs. So that is the reason you need agent to collect the data and send, and indexer to process the data and store the data, and search head is going to visualize it and create alerts and create security use cases. Everything can be happen on the search head. How the Splunk is working exactly, like what is the behind of it? So first, the forwarders are collecting the data, from the TCP UDP sources, network devices, and metadata. And it is sending the data to the indexer. What indexer is doing? Indexer will do the parsing and indexing. Like it will cut the event into the lines, and it will add the timestamp when it is generated, and metadata, if any metadata required, it will add that metadata. If any rejects, you want to extract the field creation, or you want to extract something, then the rejects will do. Thus the regex transforms. And next one is the indexing. Indexing is kind of storing. It will store the data in a raw data and index file and save to disk. And at the searching level, you can create user interaction, display results, and store the knowledge objects. And at the search head, you will see like this beautiful ports, and also it is useful for us. Just a small example, if we understand, when the rise, the spikelet area, like it at the rising at the paddy field, and you cannot able to do it with, right? You need the white rice. To do that, you have to collect the spikelet and you will send it to the indexer. Then the indexer removing the husk, and then you will get the brown rice, and it will process the brown rice. Then you will get the white rice, and it will store the white rice. So this is a forwarder, and this is the indexer do all these steps. And once the indexer created the white rice and store, then the search head can create the multiple recipes out of the data. So this is the simple example how the Splunk will do. So here the data input, it will ingest data into the indexer, and once the data got processed and stored properly, and the search head will do create a report dashboard, and it will do the alerting mechanism. So this is about the small Splunk introduction. To do that, you need to log in into the splunk.com. You need to sign up into the splunk.com. Open the splunk.com page, and you can sign up and then log in into the Splunk. Once you log in into the Splunk, here you go. Once you log in into the Splunk, you can click on the free Splunk, and you will see this page, Splunk Cloud Trial. You can use the Splunk Cloud Trial, and it will give the 5 GB per day trial version. But I wanted to download the Splunk into my laptop. So I will click on this link, on the orange color, the free trials and downloads hyperlink is there. You can see that, and click that free trials and download page, and then you will go into the free trials and downloads page. You will land over here. Again, it will show you the Splunk cloud platform, which will be 5 GB data per day, and it will give the 14 days, and no credit card is required for it. And if you go little down, there you will see the Splunk Enterprise. So this is what I wanted to download. You can click on the get my free trial, and that free trial will be available to you in your laptop for the next 60 days, and every day you can able to index the data of 500 MB every day for 60 days. That is more than enough for the learning purpose and also doing the exercises. I have already installed the Splunk, and I have kept here. You can see this is a 9.1.0.1, and this is my Windows system. Just double click on the installer, and it is already preparing to install on my laptop. And you can see the Splunk Enterprise installer opened the pop-up, and it is asking me to accept the license agreement. Click the checkbox, click next, and you can write your username and password. This is your Splunk local application. You don't need to give the Splunk website username and password. You can create new username and password. And I have given the username and password here, and I will click on next, and it is asking me to create start menu shortcut. Okay, I'm fine with that, and I will start installing. That's it. And if you want to install the Splunk software in the Mac, then this is the page for it. And if you go down, you can download the tar file, For example, if you want to install in a Linux soft Linux operating system, then you can able to download the multiple, like for example, the tar file installation you can do, and you can install as a Red Hat RPM package, or you can install as the Debian DEB installation. It according to, like for example, if it is Ubuntu, then you will download it as a Debian, and if it is a Red Hat, then you will install it as a RPM package. And for example, you want to download it as a tar, then you will download it as a tar file. In a Mac OS, there is only one option is available, like you have to download it as a DMG file. It's a tar file, and you will in place the package into which folder you want to install, and you have to run this command, and then it will install the Splunk into your system. So here, by the time while it is installing in my laptop, I wanted to show you how many Splunk jobs available in the world. And in the LinkedIn jobs, I have given the Splunk, and I given it in a United States, and you can see there are 8,000 plus jobs are available and 444 new jobs created recently. And if I check in India, there are the 2000 plus Splunk jobs are available, and 164 jobs recently added. Within 1 month they have added. And these are not stopping at all. Like even though these 2000 were filled, again another new 2000 jobs will be available. So you can check in a LinkedIn always, and you can apply. Let us download the test documents. For the practice purpose, there is a tutorial data for Splunk available. Yes, here in this page you have in the documentation Splunk search tutorial and system requirements page. Here you have the tutorial data.zip and prices.csv.zip. You can download both of them from this particular page. I am sharing this URL in the description, and you can download these two data files. And I have already downloaded that file, and let's go and let us see that. If you unzip the tutorial data, in that you will contain the 5 different folders like a mail SV, vendor soils, www1, 2 and 3. I am opening the www1, and I can see there is some access.log and secure.logs are there. I wanted to check the access.log. This is a raw data. When you look into it, there is a huge data is present. I am going into the top line, and I'm trying to understand what is this data about. I will zoom a little bit. This line contains the first one IP address, and then we have the 2 dashes, and then we have a timestamp is there, and then we have the get function, which is a HTTP method, get post methods. After that, there is a product screen and product ID is present. That means this is downloaded from some kind of online store. So that is the reason it is contain the product ID. This is this tutorial data and secure files both are coming from the Splunk provided details. Okay, and this is a J session ID. This is some session ID is present, and then the HTTP 1.1 some version is there. After that, there is a 200 is there HTTP status methods, like 200 is for the success, 400 is for the client error. So you can check here, you can see between 100 to 199 it's informational responses, between 200 to 299 is a successful responses, 300 to 399 is a redirection messages, 400 to 499 is a client error, and 500 to 599 is a server error. If you click on the successful responses, 200 is for OK. And also, mostly you might have seen the 404 error, right? Client error responses. In the 404, when our system doesn't have the internet, when you open any website, then we will get the 404 not found error. And by the time my Splunk software got installed, I'm clicking on the finish, and it automatically launching the browser. Yeah. So to open the Splunk, once you install in your laptop, you have to open either 127.0.0.1, that is the IP address, and 8000 is a port. Or else you can give in the browser localhost column 8000. 8000 is a Splunk web port. When you simply press enter, it automatically open the Splunk page. I will give my username and password, and I can see the Splunk installed file. And if you click on this particular help, and if you click on the about, here help and about, you can see what is the version. It's a Splunk Enterprise, and this is the version 9.1.0.1. It is the build version. This is my laptop host name it is providing. And if you want to check the licenses, you can click on the settings, and then under the system there is a licensing will be there. If you click on the licensing, it will show you what license is currently your Splunk contain. So currently we are under the trial license group, and this will be available until September 13, 2023, this particular time, until next 60 days of time, it is available. Okay, let me get back to the file, and after that there is a four digits are there, and then I have the www.google.com, and after that something about the browser information is there, and this is a one event you can check. If I click here, and you can check in the notepad, it is stating about the line 1. I want to see how many different events are present, and I click on the last line. It is stating that it contains 13,628 events are present, and in that event I want to see, here I have seen the HTTP status method, right? The 200 we just discussed. How many different methods are there? If with this way, with the notepad, it is impossible to identify how many are there. So I will ingest this data into the Splunk, and we will see how Splunk will process and how it will show us in the search bar. So I open my Splunk again. How to open the Splunk? Localhost 8000. Then it will open the Splunk, and I will give my username and password. Now I need to ingest the data, add the data. You can see here it is in the home page itself, it is stating about add data here. Here also you can add the data, or else you can go to the settings, and then you click on the add data. If you click that add data button, it will show you about get data with the following methods: upload, monitor, and forward. Uploading for the files, monitor for the file which will continuous, and forward is for the from Splunk to another application, or the Splunk one machine to the another machine. When you want to forward, you can click on it. So currently I want to just upload the data. So I will click on the upload. So I can drop and drag that particular file. So I will go to that folder, and I will drag and drop the file over here. You can see already the data got processed. File is successfully uploaded, and I will click on the next button. Then it need to identify what is the source type of it, and what is the even it need to cut it into the pieces. So you can check here in the event breaks, and it already what is the pattern, it already identified the pattern, and it already get the event breaks. And next one is the timestamp. So the current time on my laptop is, that is what it is took. It as a the 5th July. So it is extracted the time from the 5th July. The whatever the log file content, it is got the same timestamp. This is what I want, so it already got it. It is a configuration file. It automatically took the timestamp, and this is the advanced one. Currently we don't want to discuss. And the source type is access combined web cookies. So that is about this log. Splunk already identified, and when you click the next, it is talking about input settings. What is the host of it? The host is my laptop. And what is the index? If I want to create a new index, I can create, or else I can leave it as a default. So I want to create a new index. Click create new index. I'll say this is tutorial data index for the testing purpose, and I'm saving it. Automatically it added the data to the tutorial data. All I have given in a small letters, and I am reviewing it. It given the input type, file name, source type, and host. When I submit the data, within fraction of second it uploaded, and I want to start searching that particular data. When I click on that start searching it, it will go and open it in a my search bar. It is showing you the tour if you want, and just skip the tour for now. And it's already shown how many events are there. So it is, you can see here it contains the 13,628 events are there. And if I go down a little bit here, I want to know the status method, 200 status. If I go little down in the page, you can see there are the status is there. If I click on it, it will identify how many different statuses are there, and every status is present in how many events and what is the percentage of that events. All these details is shown in a single click. And also it will, this is about the status. It contains the 8 values of 100% of events. And if I want to see maximum value over time, minimum value over time, rare values, top values by time, all these details also, if you want, I can click on the report. For example, if I click on the top value report, if I click that, it already created a small report in a visualization. It's currently showing it in a bar chart. I want to see it in a pie chart. When I click on the pie chart, it will show like that. I want to see it in a bar chart, then it will show it in a bar chart. So I want it to be present in the bar chart itself. Okay. So like that, you can able to install and you can ingest the data.